Good afternoon. It's December the 27th. Nice, beautiful, warm afternoon, at least for December the 27th. It's around freezing. I didn't check the exact temperature, but somewhere along there. And I'm just going to do a walk I haven't done for a while, but used to do all the time, which is just kind of my standard walk along Wascana Creek here. Don't know if I need my hat or not. I'll keep it handy in case I do. As you can see, not a cloud in the sky, but fairly cloud-free. Sun should be up for the entire walk, but it's already low. Still in those shortest days of the year time frame. I hope everyone had a good Christmas if you celebrated. Ow. Yes, we've already seen 2 dogs. I have yet to do a walk where you don't see any. See, there's still ice, even though there's been no fresh snow. The ice hasn't gone anywhere that I keep commenting on. So we had a good Christmas. You know, presents, food, all the usual stuff. I got some new gloves, which I'm wearing right now. I bought some new gloves not that long ago and promptly lost one of them, so it's good to have these. I haven't done anything in the writing department. I'm kind of giving myself a break from most of that stuff for a week or so. I do need to do some writing, but it's certainly on the publishing side. I'm putting it off a bit, but I'll have to get back to it next week. I have a big grant application I have to finish. Among other things. Also, I have 2 books coming out in January and 1 in February. So yeah, there's a ton of that stuff to do, but I am giving myself a slight vacation here. I'm working on publishing stuff for the most part. So we'll go up here on the dike, and then we'll walk along the creek, heading west. Hope my mic stays on today. I recharged it, so hopefully that's the reason it was cutting out the other night. As I remember, I'll look down to make sure the green light is still on. But I think it just needed charging. Hope that's all it was. Not that they're expensive, but I bought enough of the things. I'm getting tired of buying new mics, trying to make them work. I actually got one I'm going to return because it didn't work. Okay, up on the dike, up on the rooftops, reindeer, oh, something like that. Hello. Still nothing there but an empty lot. Creek's over there, it's frozen. You can see there's still beaten down snow on the dike here. It's hard to see the screen walking this direction, the sun up there. There is snow in the forecast in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how much materializes. At some point this will all turn white again, almost for sure. They must be heading to the little rink that's been carved into the ice down there. Oh, hello. Yeah. Somebody has their cat with them. Down at the other end, closer to the bridge, there's a cleared space. And we might go past another one further up. I guess that's the question. Which way do I go today? Actually, maybe I'll stick to this side and then come down the other side. Something like that. Is that what I want to do? I'm not sure. Oh, my shoulder hurts. It seems to be from all the... because my wife has her foot in a cast, we have this transport chair that I keep having to fold up and load into cars and things, and it seems to have made my shoulder blades sore. First on one side, then on the other. I think I'll just make this kind of my traditional walk, so I will go this way. Another dog. Over the footbridge. Take a look down the frozen creek to the east. And the other way to the west. See, it looks like winter looking down there and along this side. Wherever the sun has been able to hit regularly, it looks like spring or, well, fall, which it was, of course, until last week when the first day of winter arrived. I'll see if that other unofficial rink that sometimes is made is down at the other end of the creek here, closer to Elphinstone. I just bought a heating pad, so the way it's feeling right now, I'll definitely put that on my back when I get home. Honestly, it's quite sore. They've sanded up here, which is good because it can get quite slippery. Now, sometimes if there's snow, people toboggan just the other side of the dike there. There's kind of a bowl, but there's no snow, so no tobogganing. I'm glad they put sand down. That helps. It's still kind of holidays, so we already are seeing more people walking than I would actually expect on a normal Wednesday afternoon. So far, nobody, according to my little numbers here, has tuned in, so I talk to myself, but I never listen to me. However, most people watch this as a replay, so if that's what you're doing, I hope you're enjoying it. Kiwanis Park, Waterfall Park. No waterfall this time of year, of course. It's down in there. You can walk down through there, but I won't do that because there probably is snow down there, and I'm only wearing runners. Oh, somebody on a bicycle. See, down in there you can walk, but it doesn't look like much has been down there this year. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, I won't do it since I'm not wearing boots. I might if I were wearing boots. Oh, good grief, there's people everywhere. Very annoying. I prefer walking in lonely solitude. Is there any other kind of solitude? Can't very well have companionable solitude. Crow up there somewhere. Oh, there he is. Up there in the tree. Might have seen him if you looked close. Having a few comments. Making a few comments on the people passing by. Baseball diamonds over here. Not a lot of that going on, like none, for a while yet. Again, you can go down and walk right along down there. And I've done that many a time, but not today. And still nobody has tuned in to watch live. Another dog. Green light is still on the microphone, so there's a big dog coming now. Again, baseball diamonds. You could almost play out there. No more snow than we have. Maybe a little icy in spots. I am sore. Have been for several days. The only thing I can think of is a combination between sleeping on the bed I'm sleeping on at the condo, which is just a little pull out, quite hard. Might have something to do with it. And then all the lifting and carrying that's been going on probably contributed to it as well. I don't know that there's anything on the ice over there. It doesn't really look like it. Oh, here comes a jogger. Again, if I had a bingo going, that would be one of the bingo cards. Maybe I'll make this a figure 8 just to vary things. So if we go down that way, we can check out to see if anybody has made a rink down there like they sometimes do. And then we can go up and around that way, come back around this way, and then go back down that way to go back to the house. I think that's what it's going to be today. Since nobody's watching, I can do whatever I want. Ha ha ha. Still might as well cross here where the light is. For safety's sake, this is Elphinstone if you're following along on Google Maps at home. Not really anybody coming, so. Oh, wait, someone's watching. Yay. Hello, unknown YouTube viewer. That's Sherman Park. We'll go up here across the bridge. And then we will circumnavigate Les Sherman Park. Another look at the creek here, and let me look over there. Any sign of the rink that is sometimes put in over there? I don't think so. Doesn't look like anybody's cleared the snow, so. Nope. It would be right there if it was there. Last couple of years there's been one there. Maybe they'll put it in later if we get colder weather. Here's a look at the creek again, looking west. Carry on up Elphinstone here. We're walking north at the moment. You can see my shadow. Hello, shadow. Car probably thought I was waving at them, but I wasn't. Yeah, definitely nothing on the ice there. We'll go up here by the Neo-Balkwell Civic Arts Center, home to the Art Gallery of Regina. It's not the only art gallery in Regina, but it's maybe the only city-owned one. You can take art classes here. I never have, which kind of surprises me because I loved art. I still would love to do art. And yet here I am, 64, and I haven't done anything to speak of if you don't count, cover designs and things like that for books. I haven't done anything in years. Never too late, I guess. Well, it is eventually, but hopefully I could still take it up and have some fun with it. Trouble is, I don't get to retire, so I don't really need hobbies. My hobby is publishing and writing, which is also what I do for work. So when you're self-employed, I don't think hobbies there really is such a thing. It's all one schmear of stuff. Schmear. Technical term. Here's the entrance. If you're going to the art gallery, there's some public art out here as well, prints of paintings and such. That's a seniors center, a seniors activity center over there. Now we'll go up along the park up here. Scenic dumpster over there. This will take us by the giant beaver. And not everybody who does one of these live stream walks can say that you're going to see a giant beaver, but you are today. I believe it was a centennial project originally. So that would have been 1967. Which is when we moved to Canada. Canada, we love thee. Canada, proud and free. Rah, rah, for Canada, 3 cheers, hip, hip, hooray. Celebrate, that's the order of the day. Frere Jacques, merrily we rolled along together all the way. So that was a centennial song that they were playing. And I was 7 or 8 when we moved up here. 8, I guess. And that's when this would have been new. But as you can see, he's a bit the worse for wear. Anyway, yeah, so that was we moved up here the same year as the centennial. So Expo 67 in Montreal and all that. And I was very disappointed because we'd talked about Expo 67 in my social studies class in grade 3, I guess, in Tulia, Texas. And it'd be so cool to see Expo 67. And then my parents had to gently explain to me that even when we got to Canada, Weyburn, which is an hour south and east of here, we were just as far from Montreal as we were living in Texas. So that was a disappointment, to say the least. Also, I was disappointed that when we came across on August the 3rd in 1967, and there was no snow, I thought, I had this kind of mental image that once you hit the border, there'd be a solid wall of snow. But no. In fact, it looked pretty much exactly like Texas. Flat, hot, dusty. Okay, we need to go down this creek. Or not the creek, but the park over here. And you look down at the end of the street, you can see Mosaic Stadium, the big football stadium, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders play, where Grey Cup was last year. Not that we were playing in it, but that's where it was. That's the National Championship of the Canadian Football League. Actually going, well, I guess the sidewalk's okay. Sometimes this side is icy and the other side isn't, but I think it's okay because there's been so little snow. Now we get a long straight stretch here. Oh, so sore. Okay. Nothing to be done but endure. Take a Tylenol when I get home, I guess. Fire up the heating pad again. See how low the sun is, even at 3 o'clock. Warm enough I haven't put on a hat and haven't missed it. Wearing gloves. New gloves. I got them for Christmas. For my daughter. I asked for them, so I was pleased to get them. I just bought a new pair less than a month ago and promptly lost one of them. Which is annoying because they weren't that cheap, but one of them is gone now. Fortunately, I have another one-sided pair of gloves, and it's the other gloves, so although they don't perfectly match, at least I do have another set of gloves for colder weather. These are just lightweight ones for driving and this kind of weather, which so far is pretty much all I've needed this year. We'll see how the rest of the winter goes. If El Nino starts to peter out and the jet stream reasserts itself and we get our proper Arctic air that we would normally have, or even if it just starts to snow, because right now, see, it's not good if you don't get snow. It's Saskatchewan, because it gets very dry come spring if you don't have that snow melt, and the farmers have a problem. Another dog. If I did the bingo card, dogs would be like the free one in the middle. Because every walk you see multiple dogs. So this is our turnaround spot up here. So you get down to this next cross street. We'll go left, which will take us back down to the creek, and then we'll walk down the creek back to Elphinstone, and then we'll cross there and make our way to the house. That's a pretty new house there. They built it just in the last year or so. So we've seen it. If you go back and look at these walks, you'll see the construction. Oh, someone finally said hello. FIFA, hi, how are you? FIFA shorts. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Other new ones over there, you can tell by the shape, especially that one. This is Canada, Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. That old school in front of us is now home to Saskatchewan Express, which is a performing arts school and company. Oh, hello, Tracy. Yeah, it is a nice house, a lot bigger than what was there. So I think I'm gonna just stick to my usual path here, except this is reversed from my usual. But so we're on Pasco Street now. You can see how low the sun is. It's what time is it? It's 5 minutes to 3, or just about 3 in the afternoon. Saskatchewan Express. Oh, there's people out there. They just have dogs running around, or are they playing a game? I think they have their dog. I saw. I said there's so little snow you could actually be playing baseball if you wanted to. Why is there a car on the bike path? No, they're not on the bike path. Oh, I see where they are. Just for a minute, I thought they were driving along the bike path, which would be irresponsible, and also, I'm not sure you'd clear the bridge. No, they were coming around the path that way. It's unusual to see somebody on that road. Yeah, it's been, hovering one side or the other, freezing for weeks now, and no snow. If we could easily have had this same temperature and tons of snow. It's not that it's so mild that all the snow would have melted. Some would. I mean, that's why there's bare ground, but we could have had tons of snow at these temperatures and have a really beautiful Christmas when you have lots of snow and mild temperatures. But no, we're getting pretty much no snow, which, as I said earlier, is problematic come spring for the farmers. But it's not spring by a long shot. Winter just started, so we could have tons of snow in January, February, March, and April. Here's the creek. There's the bridge. There is a spot up here where you can get right down on the ice, but I don't know if I trust the ice enough to do that because of the mildness. So I don't think I will try that. But right there, it's very easy down here to walk onto the ice. And as you can see, people have gone right across, but it doesn't look like it's necessarily safe right there. I am a writer and publisher. As a writer, I write everything, nonfiction and fiction. My fiction is mostly science fiction and fantasy. And as a publisher, I publish everything, but again, quite a bit of science fiction and fantasy. Started as a journalist, newspaper reporter, and I've done a million other things. I'm an actor. I've done professional theater work. I've hosted TV and radio shows. What else have I done? Communications officer for various things over the years. But for 30 years, I've been a freelancer. Yeah. Over here on the warm side, and where there's a lot of twigs and stuff and leaves in the ice, it didn't look like something I wanted to risk. Probably fine, because obviously people have been out there. You can see their footprints, but not my choice this morning or this afternoon. Oh, there's too many to list. Just go to my website, edwardwillett.com. EDWARDWILLETT.com. And the publishing company is Shadowpaw Press. All one word, shadowpawpress.com. I've got like 20 novels and 40 or some nonfiction books. Most recent one was a science fiction novel called The Tangled Stars, published by Daw Books in New York. My most recent novel. I've also edited a series of anthologies. The fourth one is coming up in January called Shapers of Worlds. Each one of those has one of my stories in it. They're all people who are guests on my podcast, The World Shapers. Sorry, trying to read that. Yeah, my webpage should be somewhere on my channel. Should be listed there somewhere. Sure it is. Also, the podcast is now starting to show up on the YouTube channel because I'm switching to a video format and focusing it a little differently than I have. It's going to be more focused on new books as opposed to the creative process, which is what it's been focused on up until now. But it's just edwardwillett.com. So as long as you put 2 T's on Willett, 2 L's and 2 T's, I will come up. Or if you search for me, I'm the first couple of pages of Google because I'm on so many different platforms. Oops. Make sure I didn't knock my microphone off there. And it has worked the whole way, so I was right, and its only problem was it needed charging. This path curves merely for aesthetic reasons. And it's banked for the bicyclists. For youngsters who want to write, read. Read, read, read. Read everything. Read widely. And then write. Practice. That's really the only way to do it. I mean, you can take classes, and yeah, there's some benefit to that. But ultimately, it just comes down to doing it. Reading books and kind of by osmosis as much as anything, get a feel for storytelling and how words are used. And there's some basic things like punctuation and spelling and stuff like that you need to learn, but that's just mechanics. I was a huge reader, and when I was 11 years old, a friend and I decided to write short stories just for something to do on a rainy afternoon in those pre-internet days. And I wrote a short story called Castor Glass Hypership Test Pilot. Same difference. Well, medical student, that's cool. I make more money as a doctor than you ever would as a writer. My mother-in-law was a doctor, Dr. Alice Goodfellow, pediatrician. My wife is an engineer. But me, my father was a teacher and choral director. Oh, look at all the rabbits. There's a whole host of them over there. Oh, and they know there's a dog nearby too. But let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. I don't know. What do you want to do? If you're a medical student, I'd say your future is looking pretty good. Lots of calls for doctors. Yeah, what did I got again? Okay, it's more or less where it was. I might be zoomed in a little more than I was, but that's okay. I would say, don't take the advice of some random guy you found walking around on the internet. Even though I think my advice is pretty good. But Do not pretend to be an expert on anything except writing, and maybe a bit on publishing. The dog. Well, certainly we need doctors, but I don't know what the ins and outs are of how you, immigrate to Canada and become one. I do think I'm still zoomed in a little more than normal, so let's take it out another notch. There we go. That looks more like what I had before. Go back over another footbridge here. Across the creek for the second time. Third time, actually. My daughter is working toward being a physiotherapist. She has her undergraduate degree and is looking for her graduate program now. Might be going to England for a specialist master's in dance science, because that's what she's really interested in. And then come back to Canada for the 2 more years of grad school she needs to become a physiotherapist. That's the closest we have to a doctor in our family now that my mother-in-law's gone. I have a niece who's a nurse, another niece who's a lawyer. I'm the one who went into the arts. But fortunately, I married an engineer, which was a good career move. Sorry, I got to find a place where I can see the screen. Oh, I don't know. My dad would have loved for me to be a preacher, but I just kind of said, well, I respect you, Dad, and that would be a fine thing to be, but I really don't think that's for me. And that was the only pressure I was under, so I never really felt that kind of pressure. I mean, I could hardly give advice on your family situation. Ultimately, we all have to become ourselves. That's the way it works. Yeah, how's that for bland advice? Be yourself. There you go. That answers all the problems. Because of course it doesn't, but two dogs for the price of one. Nice house. I like that house. It faces onto the creek, which is nice for them. Looking up the alley. I have farmers in my family. My mom grew up on a farm, but never wanted to stay on one. She never wanted to be a gardener because when she was growing up, they had to grow food in the garden to feed everybody. It was just a lot of hard work, so she could never understand anybody who gardened for fun. And my niece's husband comes from a big ranching family. Lots of land out in the Southwest, lots of cattle. See him on a horse, and it's like he was born on it. You see me on a horse, and it's like, gee, I hope he doesn't fall off. Which is what I'm thinking the entire time I'm up there, too. See me at a keyboard, however. That's my natural element. Okay, back across Elphinstone here. As we continue to trend homeward. Homeward bound. I wish I was homeward bound. Little Gilbert and Sullivan. Not Gilbert and Sullivan. Paul Simon and Garfunkel. That's it. I was having to rearrange my brain there. Thanks, you too. Sorry, I can't provide more scintillating advice, but Simon and Garfunkel, Gilbert and Sullivan. You can see why I'd make that mistake. They both have two names, and that's pretty much the only thing they have in common. Okay, have a look at the creek. As we cross yet again. Yeah. The last few years, there has been a rink cleared right down there, but I haven't done it yet. But they have further down the creek, so they probably could if they wanted to, whoever they are. I don't know who they were who did this thing, but I've seen it many times. All right, we'll go along the dike for a short distance here and then duck down through the neighborhood over there. This side doesn't have quite as much ice as the other side because of the way the sun falls, or shines, it doesn't fall. There's actually some water down there, which is a sign it must be above freezing, or close to it anyway. We'll go down this way, I think. Hopefully it's not too slick. Oof, a little slick. Now we're down below the dike on this side. All flood control. For flood control, I should say. Oh, worked up a sweat. I'm sure you wanted to know that, but I do like to share. This is where, if you're on a bicycle, you really want to know this is here if you're coming down here after dark. It might be the last thing you discovered. Or even jogging, you'd want to know that was there if you were down here in the dark. We'll go up this bit of alley here. A bit of alley. You can see there's open water there too, so definitely in the sun at least it got above freezing today. Here is Garnet Street, and Leopold Crescent bends off of Garnet Street. I'm going to step up a little further here because it's less slippery, it looks like. Now, sometimes there are rabbits down here. Don't know if we'll see them or not. I want to go over. Oh, look, that's a very purple house. I always comment on it. a vibrant choice in house paint. See, I just walked along here 2 nights ago when I was doing the Christmas lights walk in the neighborhood. Just a couple of hours later than I am now, maybe 3. There's often rabbits in that little patch of open space there, which because of the shade has stayed snow covered. I don't see any at the moment. It's hard to see though with the sun. Oh, no, there's one. It's in the middle there. You can see there's probably more. Where there's one, there's usually more. I'll go down the alley here, which is also wet. It's going to be a little slippery, so I better be careful. Yeah, I kind of am regretting coming this way because of the slipperiness. So I thought about walking along the alley, but I don't think I will. The sooner I get back into bare pavement, the happier I'll be. Because a little bit of ice with water on top of it is the slipperiest, except for maybe, ooh, yep, sure enough, very slippery. Oop, eek. Except for maybe a thin layer of mud with leaves on top of it. That seems to be the way I most often come closest to falling when it's not icy. Well, that was a bad choice, but I made it in one piece. Now we're on Angus Crescent, and just a short distance up this way and we will be done. I will be done. This house over here, the white one, is the house that used to belong to Tommy Douglas, former premier of the province. And it's a very nice house. It's been for sale for quite a while though. And they're not asking that much for it. Really, I think it's priced like asking $800,000 or something, which is pretty cheap these days. Historic house, very nice. Has an indoor swimming pool even, which you can't see from here. Maybe an odd thing for a socialist, the first socialist elected to government at the provincial level or state level in North America, that he had an indoor swimming pool. Which most people did not, and still do not. I do wonder what that does to the house, though. You'd think thered be potential for a humidity problem inside the house. I guess it's all sealed off, but at least it's my understanding that the pool belonged to him and wasn't added later. I could be wrong. So, just to be 100% fair. But it's my understanding it was there when he owned the house. Okay, we'll stop at this intersection up here. And that will be today's walk in Regina. right here we will stop on this intersection. So that's it. Thank you for walking with me. I can't promise I'll be back tomorrow. It's just kind of an odd week, but I'll be back sometime soon. In the meantime, subscribe if you haven't, and bye for now.